Hey, what's going on YouTube? Smaller here, and I just wanted to do a early thoughts, my early impressions of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've only been playing for about 14 hours, one full day. I'm, I guess, moderately through up to what I've done. I want to give my early impressions and my early thoughts on the game so far. This is not normally something that I normally do, put on my channel. Usually I wait until I complete a game, and believe me, there will be a big, full thoughts and review on the game once I've completed it. But as of right now, and this is going to be as spoiler-free as possible, but basically, I think of it as like this. If you liked Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the direction it went, how it played, and all that kind of stuff, you are going to absolutely love this game. And so far as to where I'm at, probably you're going to think it's even better. That being said, the game doesn't really do too much different from Remake. So if there are elements of Remake that you didn't like, they're probably still in Rebirth. And not much is going to really change. Yeah, remember, this is a part 2 of a trilogy. And some things have changed, some combat mechanics and things like that. But for the most part, the general design philosophy behind the whole game is the same. Now, one of the things that really bothers me, it bothered me in Remake, and it bothers me a lot in this one, is the forced RP walking. I don't care too much about being restricted in where I can and cannot go, especially... And now this isn't really much of a spoiler because this was in the demo, which was the Nibelheim flashback. But, so, you know, I understand being restricted where you can and cannot go. But if I'm stuck in a situation where my character is forced to walk, or to limp, or to crawl for a stretched period of time, obviously the point of that is for cinematic immersion, right? For me, as somebody who enjoys playing video games, which is an interactive form of media, right? I would rather that be a cutscene. What kind of gameplay is there when it's press L2 and R2? Hold down on L2 and R2. Do it again 5 more times. What? I mean, you know, certain things like that, and especially when it's like, it's a cutscene. It has you do something like that, and then another cutscene. What was the purpose of that? Remake did a lot of things like this, and in the 14 hours that I've put into this game so far, you will experience this quite a bit. So if that is something that really turns you off the game, got some bad news for you. It's in here a lot. Now, that aside, this game takes everything that was great in Remake, puts it into this game, and makes it just that much better. The combat in 7 Remake, and now in Rebirth, in my personal opinion, is the best combat in any Final Fantasy game ever made. And the only flaw, really, that I had with Remake was the air combat. The air combat I thought was really, really bad, actually. And it improved a lot with the Yuffie DLC, with Intermission, and because I thought Yuffie was excellent. Her combat became my favorite. It went from Tifa being my favorite combat to Yuffie, and then Rebirth now, the air combat is fantastic. Even with Cloud, they essentially gave him some ranged moves by default, as well as more aerial combos rather than just jump up and, you know, you'll jump up and then a couple slashes down, jump up, you know. You have multiple different combos now, you have a bunch of different moves and things like that. And this is true for everybody in the party. Obviously, Aerith and Barrett never had an issue with it in the first place, but Tifa doesn't seem to really too much changed other than some of the new stuff to Remake, which is the synergy attacks, which are fantastic. I know I'm kind of going back and forth on what's good and what's not good. But another negative, I guess you could say, for me it doesn't bother me because graphics is always the last thing I worry about when I'm playing a game. But when there's nothing else to worry about, or, you know, like everything else is great, obviously I am going to look at the graphics. The graphical fidelity and just the raw textures in this game are actually worse than Remake. I am playing on performance, but I played Remake on performance. In my opinion, Remake looks better. That being said, of course, Remake all takes place in Midgar. This game is all outside of Midgar, so there's a much more to the game. And once you get done with the flashback sequence, which the flashback sequence is incredible, by the way, they finally did it. It's like just straight up open world game. It's like a straight up open world RPG, and it is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, so far, this game is shaping up to be, honestly, maybe my game of the year. I know it's a little early to say. We have Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out and some other games, but some early thoughts. My main criticisms is the forced RP walking and interactive gameplay of holding buttons. But other than that, it's fantastic. I'm going to get back to playing the game. Thanks for watching.